I'm too tired to explain what's happening. So let's hear it from yesterday.
Hi, what a beautiful, stunning day for a road trip. Too bad I'm not leaving until tomorrow, when it'll probably be snowing or cold or rain on my parade in some fashion. But yes, you heard me right, road trip time. It's been a while. So I'm heading home more or less, about to cross the great expanse that is Kansas. Now I'm actually from Columbia, Missouri. M-I-Z-C-O-U. Yes, my alma mater. But I am headed to Kansas City, not Columbia. Now, if you saw my last road trip series when I went out and did 5,000 miles out east, you may remember my first stop was to see my best buddy, Bryan. So I am going to see him again. That's the point of this trip, and it's to go support him in his latest pop-up. Now, when Miata owners hear the word pop-up, they probably think of the coveted example of pop-up headlights. But this is a different pop-up. Bryan, what is a pop-up?
So a pop-up is when a bar that exists or is going to exist goes into someone else's space for one evening and one evening only, offers a limited menu of cocktails that we serve with our brand and showcases that to the public. It's a really great way for different brands to work together and be able to integrate their followers, their guests, our guests, and bring it all together under one roof. Cheers.
So there you have it. This pop-up is going to be legend, wait for it, dairy. But I am so excited to get back out there, see Bryan, and support the latest venture of Fern Bar. I mean, Fern Bar has been in the works for years and years, and it's finally happening. I'm stoked. So let's get packing. Bryan, would you say this is quality tequila? I'm just curious. It actually really does. It really works for this Paloma. So I do have a future video planned on how to really optimize the Miata for road trips, including a new luggage solution. This is the last time I'll be packing the trunk this way, and I'll leave you with that spoiler. So I do want this to be a productive and informative video while still being entertaining and fun as always. So I'm going to actually be doing some studying of the gas mileage of the NC Miata on a road trip. I'll let you know my findings at the end, but I do have some ideas for being relatively scientific, which I'll get to later. But with all that being said, let's cut back to tomorrow when we get on the road yet again. I love this drive. This is coming down from my neighborhood towards Denver, and every time it's in the morning, it's, you know, into the sunrise, which is gorgeous. And there's Denver in the distance. Just lines up perfectly. Someday I want to get a really cool photo of my car on this road. I would just basically need a team to like shoot the gap between other cars. Safety first. So as I mentioned, I will be studying the gas mileage on this road trip. So my first stop will be everyone's favorite place, Costco. Alright, just pulled out of Costco gas station, resetting trip 2. That's what we will use to track gas mileage. Trip 1 will be the entire trip. I'm gonna set up my camera gear, and by the way, another life hack. I mentioned this space in a previous video. I actually took this thing out of the center, moved it forward. Now that's where my AirPods fit. The wallet fits here, chapstick keys fit there. Just a tiny little life hack thing. Got the camera rig set up. We'll see how this works. Did not have that on my last road trip series. And also, I think it's basically time to say goodbye to the mountains, because there ain't no mountains in Kansas or Missouri. It's so sad to leave here every single time. Okay, this is wild. My house, it was clear, but you can see I'm like driving into the storm, which is apparently already passed through here. And all these cars are covered in snow. There was no snow at my house. And you can even see road signs are like covered in snow on one side. So a storm just blew through here. It's so wild. Over there, totally clear where Denver is. But up ahead, just snow. So this will be interesting. In fact, I think I'm about to hit it right now. I freaking love this coffee shop. I used to go when I lived over here, but now it's a full like hour away from me, so gotta take advantage of it. And I also need to switch out hats. James Coffee Company. This is one of the only coffee shops that actually recognize this hat. So it is 9 a.m., just a hair after. Time to make the trek across Kansas. So I'm not gonna bore you with the entire trip through Kansas, but I will let you know when crazy things happen. And of course, report on the gas consumption, because I'm genuinely curious what I'm going to average. So leaving the coffee shop, done 31 miles on this tank already. Pretty much all were highway anyways, so should be pretty accurate. But let's get her done. Almost stalled it. Beautiful landscape. I love doing this drive after a fresh snow. It's just so stunning. It's really interesting how different the landscape looks just based on what it's covered in. So we'll see how far the snow stretches into Kansas. It's hard to tell if I'm gonna hit actual snow because I'm heading into the cloud. But that coffee shop was great. Legends Coffee, big fan. It's just like an hour away from where I live, so I never go, except for things like this. The coffee I made this morning was from my friend Ethan, who is doing his own roasting, and it's phenomenal. Ethan is also a new NC Miata owner. Looking forward to doing maybe some content with his car, feature him. He's familiar with the YouTube space, so that should be a lot of fun. And yeah, great coffee. I am a big fan. I actually brought one of the sample bags he gave me on this trip, so I'll try some with Bryan in Kansas City. Right, so I've done about 100 miles, just over 500 to go. The snow is starting to thin out on the road, or on the grass, I guess. The road's been dry ever since I've been on the highway for the most part. So Yeah, the blizzard I'm chasing looks like it has actually gone north. I think Nebraska is more worried about it than Kansas. That being said, I've seen quite a few cars off the road, but I think that's because they were ahead of me. So I'm glad for once I didn't leave earlier. I've done a lot of road trips with electric cars. They have an app called a Better Route Planner, or ABRP, that automatically calculates your charging stops, how long you have to stop, and you put in the car and the specifications, and it calculates it all for you. What's cool is Gas Buddy, you know, the app on your phone that tells you the cheapest gas, actually has that for gas cars on their website. I don't know if you can do it from the app, but I did on the website last night while watching Ted Lasso. And yeah, it plotted out the route for me while calculating gas savings. It says I'm gonna save $8 in gas by following this route. I am on the Hakkapeliitta R5 snow tires, which I'm glad. I thought about putting on the summer tires, but I was like, I'd rather not pile miles on those PS4Ss. And I mean, I'd rather not pile miles on these Hakkapeliittas, but in reality, I'm fine only getting a couple seasons on these because I have other winter car ideas in the future planned. So. Traffic is lined up for like miles. Pretty bad ice on the road. We were going at a pretty good clip for a while, but now it's just, yeah, winter wonderland. It feels like this hasn't really been plowed, and the other side is empty. Again, glad I have the snow tires. Oh gosh, it's all like traffic backed up. And I'm scraping because I'm low. So when I'm driving, I like to run multiple maps apps, which is probably overkill, but I have Waze going to my final destination at all times. That gives me a pretty accurate final ETA. Because Waze assumes you might go a little bit over the speed limit, which allegedly may be happening. For the sake of like proper gas mileage studying, I'm really not doing much more than like 5 over, allegedly. I feel okay saying this because cops are passing me, so whatever. And then I run Apple Maps to tell me the next gas stop. So I've got Apple Maps, which will buzz my watch when the exit's coming up, so that way I don't miss it. And then I've got Waze going to the final destination, which is Overland Park, or technically Olathe, because I'm meeting my parents at a very fine dining establishment, Texas Roadhouse. I love finding the local, true, artistic cuisine in every city. I am a proud member as of yesterday of the Yelp Elite Squad. Love finding like real awesome dining. I'll get plenty of that with Bryan this trip. My parents are simple and they know what they like, and it's really not worth, for lack of a better term, wasting fine dining on them because they're so happy at Texas Roadhouse. So just doing that. So, do we have a so counter? I say that way too much. Man, the Kia Carnival does look pretty good, not gonna lie. But yeah, found blizzard, definitely snowing, and visibility is not amazing, but I am 6 miles from my stop, still over a quarter of a tank, so plenty good, but this is a good time to stop. First exit, first gas stop, ready for some fuel, and very curious on the number. Again, some of that was slow driving in the snow, so that will probably reflect a bit, but that's why we are checking every single stop, both directions, to Colorado and back again. But wow, what wintry weather, and ironically not in the mountains, but down in the plains of Kansas. Do we have any bets? I'm gonna guess 30 miles to the gallon. Rough guess. That seems to be what I get most of the time when I'm on the highway. And even around town, high 20s or so. As far as sports cars go, it's hard to beat the miles per gallon and smiles per gallon. Maybe even a thumbnail photo right here. Right, so 8.247, and we've done exactly 250 miles. I mean, on the dot. So that's easy math. 250 divided by 8.247 equals 30.3 miles per gallon. That's rock solid. So that's our first leg, but again, some slower speeds, probably a little bit of a tailwind, but also some traction challenges here and there. And yeah, a little bit of city driving as well. So I don't know, averages out to be pretty good in our favor. I'm not gonna complain. So GPS sounds like Salina is gonna be the next stop. Resetting trip B. We'll see what we get going there. About 3 hours or just under, probably 2.5 hours to get there. And 220 miles, so that should be pretty easy. Hopefully better weather as well. Nice only having 2 stops for fuel. Sure beats some of the electric car road trips I've done. Although I really do enjoy electric car road trips. I like being forced to stop for longer. Unpopular opinion, hot take, whatever you call it. That's my 2 cents. All right, well, there's no sign of the snow letting up anytime soon, but I can take this point to talk about some of the mods and how I feel about them after some time. It's almost like a long-term review of things I've made videos on that were really just installations or initial impressions. So it's kind of nice. Road trips are a way to reflect on life, right? Or in this case, mods. So let's start right off. I had that phone mount installed, or I installed it, I guess, and it's perfect in a few ways. I love the MagSafe. It actually is holding on really well. This is the heaviest iPhone in existence, and it's holding on perfectly fine. This car is kind of stiff suspension. Colorado is rough roads, and it has never fallen off. And what's cool is it actually sits in front of the vent. So it prevents your phone from getting too warm or too cold by using the vents, which in this case, earlier when it was sunny out, the phone was baking in the sun, but the vent was keeping it cool. It was awesome, it's perfect. Also in the recent repertoire is the short throw shifter, which, believe it or not, I'm still on the fence about. It's actually, oh, okay, this semi was wobbling, doing the death wobble a little bit, but it's okay now, for now. I'm gonna try to get past him. Short throw shifter really is fine. Sometimes I love it, sometimes I'm like, this is annoying. It is hard to shift, to downshift or upshift, which is which. Basically going from like third to second and sometimes second to first as you're slowing down. That is like strangely challenging sometimes. I may need to tinker with it a little bit more. Might try adding some more lubrication because I really do like how notchy it is. I love the short throws. I don't know what I like more, this or stock. If I can get this sorted, I will definitely like this more. So that is like on my list. And if I can figure out what's wrong, I'll film that, of course. Also recent was the brakes. They are feeling really solid. I might re-bleed them. I'm not sure me and Timon did the best job, and we kind of made do with what we had around the house: water bottle, electrical tape, and a straw. So Cameron gave me his brake bleeder kit to try. I'll try that at some point, probably with Cameron. Maybe we'll do a video just on how to properly bleed your brakes, because that was barely thrown in the last video, honestly. It needs its own video if we can figure it out. I think that'll help it feel better, but the brakes do feel really good. I'm thrilled with them. They work, no more scraping and scratching noises, so that really helps. And then the other recent thing that comes to mind is the ambient LED lighting. And actually LEDs all around. I need to film that now, so hold me to it. But I'm gonna do a video on replacing all the bulbs around the car, exterior bulbs and even interior. This one right here included, the trunk one included, all LEDs. I'll show you the part numbers, how to do it all. We're going full send. But now that I've had the interior ambient lighting for a while, really do like it. Love the flexibility and yeah, just all the customization you can do with the app. Granted, for me, it's really just to set it and leave it. I just have it on red, really dim, matches the gauges, the default screen I have on this head unit, and I'm thrilled. So totally happy. The only thing, like I said, this light here built in is very bright. So I'm going to probably spray that with the red caliper paint I use, because I still like it being red. It's still cool, but it is too bright. So going to address that, and eventually like I mentioned in that video, I'd like to move the power source because this is just kind of annoying. I think this wire is ugly. This thing is just, I don't know, it's dumb. I don't know why they did the cigarette lighter, although they did comment on the video and said they'll address my concerns, so maybe they'll fix that, hopefully, because it is a really solid product. So I'm not gonna discount the product just because of that, but that's just a couple thoughts on modifications. Oh, this dash camera is really solid, by the way. So I don't know, have I done any mods lately that you guys want updates on? Let me know in the comments below. But until then, I'm just gonna keep driving through this snow-infested tundra that is Kansas. It's like 25 degrees, snowing, poor visibility. Lovely road trip weather, am I right? All right, stop number 2. Loves. I've been to this Loves many times, but we've gone 214 miles and we'll see how much gas we used. As you can see, it's finally clear-ish, cloudy. Some green grass, which I'm not used to seeing. That's weird. But yeah, we're here. Let's gas up. In case I didn't mention it, my strategy is to put the nozzle all the way in, put it on the slowest click, and let it auto shut off. Now, common issue with the NC is that when it auto shuts off, it's actually like too late, so it splashes out a little bit. It's really annoying. And for some reason, my last NC didn't do it. I had an NC1 automatic. This is an NC2 manual. No idea why that would be different, but my automatic NC1 never did it. This one almost always does it, but sometimes not. I don't know. If you guys have any ideas, let me know. Hey, it actually did not shut off. This time 7.4 gallons. Let's see how the math works out. Well, apparently the GoPro died. I need to get an extra battery, but I have this fancy little notebook that I'm keeping track of my mileage. So the last time was, I think, 30.3-ish. This time is 29.8. So we dipped down a little bit, interestingly. I know we had some severe tailwind last time, so that probably affects how we got such good gas mileage, and we drove a bit slower at times. So this time being fairly high highway speeds the whole time, that would explain why we are a bit lower. But that's it. We are leaving Abilene and about to head to Olathe. Not only is it no longer snowing, it is 60 degrees, so that's happening. I love this car. So, slight rant. The toll road on I-70 that goes through the last little part of Kansas leading into Kansas City is annoying. I have the Colorado Express toll, which is not applicable in Kansas, but if you have the Texas or the Oklahoma toll, it is applicable. And even in Kansas, if you didn't pay the toll, they would send you it in the mail, but then they would add like this ridiculous fee to it for misusing the toll. It's so dumb, it's extremely frustrating. They said they're going to work on that, whatever that means. I think by 2024 or 2026, I don't know, sometime in the future, they will have the pay by mail option, I think, finally set up. It's just, toll systems are so far behind like the rest of the world. Like, I guess half the things governments run. So, rant over. On the other side of that argument though, The road I take to avoid the toll only adds 5 minutes, and it's really beautiful farm roads. I'll see if I can get some footage. Also, my car's power at sea level is intoxicating. I don't realize just how much power gets sucked by me living at 6,000 feet altitude. It's ridiculous. These roads are so awesome. So, long story short, Texas Roadhouse, 2-hour wait, not gonna do that. So my parents said Longhorn instead. So, eating local, as they say. What's awesome is someone named Jenna on Instagram messaged me and said, hey, we saw you in Kansas. And they sent me photos and a video of my car. And they caught this semi that I was gonna rave. I was about to rant, except the, you know, I was busy trying to stay alive and driving in ice and snow. And they caught it all on tape, so I'm putting that over the top here. But it's so awesome when people see my car and they're like, hey, find you on Instagram. It helps that my license plate is my Instagram. So, pro tip right there. How was your meal?
Wonderful.
You took it all to go, though.
Yeah, I was so full.
How was your steak?
Steak was good.
Good. Oh, Longhorn Steakhouse. Never eating again. Till tomorrow, but I stuffed myself. That's the first time I've had that place in years, and probably the only time I'll have it for another few years. Yeah. Day 2. This is something I'm not used to in Colorado. The dew on the cars in the morning. This is the Midwest for you. Oh, yikes. So this is why I could never drive with the top down in Missouri in the mornings, even on nice mornings, because the dew point was pretty much always below or above the temperature. However that works. Oh, while I'm thinking about it, this is working great. So these windshield things, I guess, pop out. You take the screws out. That's how you remove the windshield. When I removed my windshield back in Georgia on my last road trip series, I didn't film that part because I was busy working on the car, but those pieces broke out. They're basically single use. So my friend Matt, his brother 3D prints and 3D printed me some of those. The 3D printing instructions are actually free and available. You can actually track down the OEM parts to that, but it's hard to find. Fog everywhere. Off to Summer Moon Coffee, but they always gotta start with coffee. Literally cannot see through any of my mirrors. Oh my gosh, I just look behind me. The joys of complete condensation everywhere. This is, again, not something I use to run into in Colorado, ever. Now, finally to go see Bryan. So that was a pretty decent coffee shop. Interestingly, I feel like it was a craft coffee shop vibe with a relatively mediocre coffee itself. Gonna go try to wash the car, then go see Bryan. Should be fun. And the last gas stop at our favorite place, Costco. Right, 6.5 gallons, nearly exactly, 165.7 miles. You don't have to be a math expert to know that that's only about 25 miles a gallon. So I got into Kansas City and just hooned around. So that's pretty much why that's happened. But So I've been intoxicated on the sea level amount of power I've had. So for what it's worth, I'm pretty happy getting 25 miles to the gallon, considering the fact that I'm absolutely mobbing everywhere. So yeah, we'll see. So that's been it, the miles per gallon to get out here. As expected, 30 on the highway, a little less in the city. Gonna pull over here, dry off the car a bit. Oh, it looks so much better when it's clean. And go meet Bryan whenever he wakes up. It's freaking 10 o'clock. This man is still not awake. It's what you get when you work in the food industry, or in his case, drink industry, on the weekends. He probably didn't go to bed till 4. There he is.
Hey, it's for you.
That is stunning. The man, the myth, the legend. You're only 2 hours late. But all's forgiven because you give me a hat. This is my new favorite hat now.
Hats fill time-sized holes.
So we are here at Second Best Coffee. Bryan, please explain to me why it's called Second Best, because I think are they the best? I mean, you're the local.
Hey, it's the Midwest humility, something like that.
Oh, that's why there's that Midwestern modesty. Okay, all makes sense now.
Yeah, there you go. There's some branding for you.
Get some coffee.
There is no place I'd rather be than right here next to you.
Welcome to Graffiti Alley.
Graffiti Alley.